All right, let's take a look at the general metrics that, well, I mean, they could be part of the, the critical metrics that you need for your conversions. You can, absolutely. But you'll see what I mean. There's more metrics than what I've just talked about. But for the most part, they are mostly focused on, social media platforms. But there's also landing pages that we have, websites that we have, blogs that we have. And what I'm about to show you, it deals with pretty much everything. And it's up to you how you want to use them. I just want to introduce you to them if you have not used them before. And I pretty much use everything. Number one is, which is actually number 9. Website sessions. So this deals with my website, and it could also deal with your, any platform that you're using. But this is focused on websites. It's the total number of visits that Google Analytics offers a graph to spot traffic trends. So I highly recommend, if you've never used Google Analytics at some point, it's a good thing to learn how to use. If you're not using it right now, forget it. Just stick with what I'm teaching you in how to make videos that sell stuff, and you will get to the point where you're using Google Analytics in the future. Google Analytics is great because it gives you all the detail. I'll show it to you in a few minutes. So let me just wait until I actually get there. But it'll show you really what's happening in your website. How many people are clicking on your main page? How often do they click into different pages in your site? How long do they stay on there? Do they click on a call to action? Right, just like it does on our platforms, but on our website. And that's what Google Analytics does. Facebook, Twitter, all these other platforms can't do that for your website. They only do it for their website. And then there's users, right? So this metric is similar to website sessions, right? It's how many people actually visit there. It's not the total number of visits. You can do within how many times your prospect will see you multiple times. Only one user is counted, so that's important because it shows you how many people are returning to your site. These are most highly interested prospects and or loyal customers that are coming. Page views are the average page depth, which is important to know. It shows how many individual pages people visited, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, in one particular session. Remember that one visitor can generate multiple page views, and so high count doesn't necessarily mean many individual users. But it gives you an understanding of, is your website or is your landing page active enough to bring page users to what you're doing? And then if there's more than a single page, which it should if it's a website, a landing page doesn't have multiple pages. Google Analytics will categorize traffic sources in several categories, which will be like direct, social, email, organic search, other different ways. We want to aim for a variety of sources for traffic and then analyze them separately so we know how to make improvements and focus our efforts on that matter instead of guessing your way. So, for example, are people responding to something you put in Facebook? Are they responding to something that comes from your YouTube channel? Are they responding for something that comes from a landing page? On and on it goes. How are they responding? Is it coming as a result from doing a Google search, which is like an organic search? Or is it direct? Maybe they've typed in your website directly on their own because they've seen it somewhere. Somebody told them, or you told them. Because just because you told them doesn't mean they went there either. So this is what Google Analytics will keep track of for you. And again, I don't want to go crazy with all this stuff. I just want you to know this is out there for you when you are ready. Then there's page load time. Page load time is telling you how long does it take for your page to come up. So if somebody types in EdsquireMedia.com, it'll tell literally how many milliseconds or seconds or minutes. That would be bad. How long does it take for that to come up? And if they click on another page in your site, how long did that take to come up? Because there are critical ways of creating your website that slows it down. And it's very important that you don't have, for example, if you have images on your website that are like 3-4 megabytes in size, not a good size to have a image on your website. You want your images to be in the kilobyte size, not even over a megabyte. If you upload a video that's like a 1080p or 60 frames per second or 4K, even if it's like a short video, that's heavy duty. You always want to upload, and again, it depends on who your platform provider is, meaning is it WordPress, is it Weebly, is it whatever you're using. For my 4 different websites, I'm literally using 4 different platforms. There's reasons why, but it makes a difference on how things come up quickly or slowly on each one of those platforms, depending on what I'm posting or what I'm putting in that website and on what that platform is. Enough of that. Exciting stuff. how long does someone spend on your site per visit? And the time that they spend, you're not necessarily always wanting people to spend a lot of time. It depends on what is on your page. For me, on EdSquireMedia.com, first of all, I'm looking for women only. So that's what it says at the very, very top. So if, guys might be interested in looking at it because this is for women only, that doesn't matter to me. But it's very simple. There's not much on there. And I'm wanting them to click on want more information, so that I give them just a short blurb on what it is that I do. I teach them how to make videos that sell stuff, women only. You can do this, and this. Do you want more information? So I like to know, how long does it take someone to spend on that page before they click on something, right? Well, we're talking some serious techniques. The way it can be calculated is in a couple of ways. It can be the amount of time a prospect spends on your entire website or on individual pages. The bounce rate this is a tough one. It's the percentage of prospects that land on your website, perform no action, and bail immediately. And I say it's a tough one because it doesn't necessarily mean, if your bounce rate is high, that doesn't always mean it's a negative thing. I'm not going to get into it with this video, but I just wanted to introduce you to bounce rate. So if you are tracking your analytics on your website, and sometimes Google Analytics doesn't give you this either. If they don't, you can always use a lot of websites have their own built-in metrics. And so bounce rate, that's what it means, but it's not necessarily always a negative thing. Basically, it means that a website isn't appealing enough for a prospect. That's what they say, to stick around and browse. But we don't know. We don't know if that's what's actually happening. That's why I say the bounce rate is important, but it needs to be carefully measured on what's really happening based on how that page is designed and what is the purpose of that page. It's impossible that a page isn't optimized for conversions, for example. It could be poor or slow. If it's just slow, people get out of there. Or it could be traffic be coming from irrelevant sources. These are a couple of examples that are reported on for what bounce rate really means. The rate is having the total number of single page sessions divided by all the sessions, and that'll give you an example. I wouldn't focus too much on that. And then the last one is also, this is really important, is the number of mobile versus desktop visitors. That's really important. What is important about knowing whether it's mobile or desktop is a couple of things. One is, whatever you're creating, whether it's not just the videos itself, but your landing page or your website or your blog or whatever it is you have that's outside of the platforms like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all these things, you need to know your website needs to work on a mobile device, I call it iPad, but those small things. iPad means Apple, whatever. But on a desktop or a laptop, it makes a difference. It needs to actually appear well on all of them. If not, you will lose customers. I was almost going to say, you might lose customers. Well, you may or may not lose customers, but generally, if your website doesn't perform well on any of those devices, it's a potential of losing people, right? It's unprofessional if your website doesn't look proper. That's why with Facebook, Instagram, well, let's just stick with Facebook. Well, actually, no. Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. That's why your profile picture and your profile at the top of your platform page. You can get actually in this course. There's templates that I've made available for you to use in Canva or anything you want on how to create a profile page for your Facebook or Instagram so that it fits on a phone, on a laptop, or on I keep thinking iPad. Scratchpad. No, it's not Scratchpad either. Doesn't matter. See, it's where ADHD kicks in. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But small devices, right? So it's important. And the reality is, it would be interesting to know, are people seeing you mostly on a phone or mostly on an iPad or on a laptop? And in general, people are looking at what you're doing mostly on phones. And that is what happens. So now let's take a look at an example of how I use metrics with Me Too What Now, which is my it was a nonprofit for a number of years, and then I switched it down to a advocacy group because it wasn't it wasn't good. I didn't need to keep it as a nonprofit anymore. I'm not going to go over this whole thing with you, my strategy. The strategy that parts of what, like, I'm not going to share the whole thing, but what you're looking at comes from a literal strategy that I made when I started Me Too What Now. And if you take the time to look at the 8 critical steps to having a winning strategy that's available to you, I highly recommend it. And some of the content I'm about to show you, some of that from this report is in the appendix of that download. But the reality is having a good strategy is super duper important. But what I wanted to show you here was how important it is from the very, very, very beginning to have some kind of a metric strategy that you're using to know whether you're succeeding or not. So this is just an example. This doesn't even follow exactly how I'm teaching this course, because there's different ways to track your metrics. I want to encourage you that as you go through this course, you don't have to do everything 100% the way I'm showing you. You need to get started with something. That spreadsheet that helps you track all the contents that we've been talking about here and even more, you don't necessarily need to use the whole thing. At a bare minimum, you want to track how often are people clicking on something. What is the click-through rate? When I have a call to action, are they clicking on that? That's a very basic, simple one. If it's too much for you to track everything else, then slowly add it as you go. But I'm about to show you. Here's what I did from the very beginning with my nonprofit. So I wanted to keep track of what I call a strategy and a playbook. It's the way I did things and how I actually executed the Me Too What Now YouTube page. And for me, what was important was understanding the critical success factors, right, which we have gone over earlier in this course. The key metrics that I was tracking were retention rate, which is how long are people watching the video. So I was measuring, what percentage of retention was I wanting people to be on there. What was the watch time and the most watched? What was the watch time per gender? What were the traffic sources that got them there? And what was the watch time by geography? The only reason I'm sharing this with you is to show you a couple things. One is this is what I tracked from the very beginning with my YouTube channel, and it's also to show you that how important it is to track from the very beginning, right? Don't wait. The longer you wait to track is the longer you're going to allow yourself to succeed in what you're doing. It's the way it works. It's important that in this case, with videos that I'm putting out there, or if it's on your YouTube channel, or if you're LinkedIn, or if it's Instagram, whatever platform you're using, you need to know what is the most important thing I need to be tracking and measuring. So I'm going to show you literally with just a few platforms that I did with Me Too What Now that made a difference for me. So these are some of the reports that come from the various platforms that I was using. Retention rate and average view duration, obviously that comes from YouTube, and so I was able to track that. Watch time, and then what are the top 10 videos? I was wanting to know what was the gender in the last 365 days with them. So actually, it wasn't 365 days because this was only up for a few months. Was it more male or more female? And it was interesting because more men were looking at the videos that I had than women, which is amazing. It was all about Me Too What Now at the time was really focusing on childhood sexual abuse, and because I'm a survivor, that's what I talked about. And I went through my whole story involved suing the government and suing the school and going out and being in the media to talk about this. And what ended up happening, to my surprise, more men watched my content than women did. That's extremely important because that helps me to determine what is the best way for me to make a video that really attracts that audience. Why that audience? Because that's the biggest audience that's coming to me that is getting the most benefit from what I'm, in this case, I wasn't selling anything, but I was helping. So, and that's why I switched to make videos that sell stuff for women only, because that's exactly what happened. It was women, for the most part, that were attending master classes and signing up. And then, so I build my business around the target audience that is attracted to what I'm doing. And that's exactly what you should be doing as well. Now, if you're attracting an audience, which is an audience you don't want, that's okay too, because you may be focused on a particular gender, so then you need to change your content. You need to change what it is you're creating, whether it's video or still imagery, and then reverse that attraction, right? So you're getting what you're looking for. And so on Instagram, it was interesting. There was 63% at the time that were women, and 37% were men. Traffic sources I had in total, because we just talked about that a few minutes ago. is there's external, suggested videos, channel pages, and other. It was good knowing where did things come from. So in this case, external meant outside of YouTube. Supported meant it came from inside YouTube, where YouTube was recommending something else. The other one was channel pages. So did it come from somebody else's channel page and came to me? So this is a good example of what sources are that I was talking about a few minutes ago. Of course, watch time by geography was interesting. It didn't, it gives you information on what's happening. And at the time, I had 69% Canada, 30% United States, 0.5% in Mexico. And then what is the watch time by subscribers? I'm just going to go through this quickly. I created my own dashboard metrics. So what you're looking at here is just a screenshot of an entire spreadsheet that I had. I wanted to know what were the total lifetime likes, what were the daily likes, what was the daily page engaged users, and on it goes. So this was a spreadsheet that tracked all this stuff, so I could look at it and know what is working, what is not, what were video repeats, what was the 20-day total reach. And now looking at what Facebook responded to, and this is back in 2018, so Facebook is even different. But back then, it was letting me know photos, links, videos, shared videos, and statuses. Those were the different types of posts that they were tracking. What was the reach? What were the clicks? What were the reactions, comments, and shares? And isn't this interesting? This is so interesting to help me, which would help you in your business to make decisions as to what's working and what's not. It's so interesting. And you'll notice that where there were links and videos, that's had the highest number of post clicks out of anything. So even back then, that's what was working. On Instagram, again, this is it says dashboard metrics, but I had a spreadsheet that tracked followers, followings, posts, likes, and all these things, right? All these things. Twitter, I had it going as well, and I used, this is literally from their dashboard. It showed me how many tweets I made, what were the impressions, what were the profile visits. Profile visits are click-throughs, right? Mentions, followers in that. This is literally in the first 23 days, which was I did amazing. And then by May 2009, I was wanting to know how many tweets did I do in 1 month? What were the impressions? What were the profile visits? What were the new followers? Now, if you really want to get blown away, this is up to you. I'm going to show you like a seriously advanced spreadsheet that I made that is not available anywhere, but this is information I wanted to know. So it's just a spreadsheet, so it's easy to make. And it seriously helped me grow in YouTube. So I wanted to know other organizations that were using YouTube, and Me Too What Now is me in the yellow on the bottom, how many years they were in business. And look at this. Look at 5, 13, 12, 10. Me, I had 1 year, right? Number of subscribers, look at this. After 12 years, they had 6,000, 5,000. Cult of Men had 429. Look at me. I've just 1 year, 106. That's fantastic. Number of videos that they had put out over time. Look at this. And so this is extremely good information. As I compare myself, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but as I compare myself to the top 5 nonprofits and for-profit organizations that supported sexual abuse against men and women, for the most part, and especially on YouTube, I was able to create a spreadsheet that let me know how well was I doing compared to everybody else out there. And I'm going to tell you, I was doing well. And this is one of the reasons why Me Too What Now has gotten incredible success, has helped so many people. It's become popular. It's an incredible story. That's why I was on a TV show last summer in July or August. I had an audience of over 52 million people in the United States. It's important. If I did not track this stuff, how would I ever be that popular that I would get called by different organizations to speak and be a part of what I was doing? I wanted to show you this because this is what can happen when you track your metrics and you make adjustments and you do things. And the same thing is going to happen for make videos that sell stuff. That's what I'm doing. That's what I do. That's what happened and is happening for Visible Kindness. Even though Visible Kindness has been on a break for a year and a quarter, because for the last year and a quarter, I've been building this course, and I just physically can't. I'm not gonna kill myself working, so I had to put Visible Kindness on hold. And this has to do with focus again, right? It's focus. You have to put things aside. I had to put Me Too Now aside as well to build what I'm building now. So when things are ready to go and this becomes less work for me, then I'll be able to put the time into Visible Kindness, which I'm launching. The estimated relaunch is April, might be May, but we'll see. But it's coming. And then I'll start tracking the metrics again with podcast views, where are people, how often people watching it. So here's what I'm saying. If you're not using metrics in your business, what are you doing? If you're posting stuff to see if you get likes, views, comments, and shares, you make a sale or two, fantastic, great. But I'll tell you what, having someone call you to say, we'd like you to be on our 52 million viewer TV show network, I would rather have that than something I post is great. At the end of the day, I want to make an impact with what I'm doing, and I want to make money. And it's important because Me Too What Now was never a money-making thing. That's why I say impact. And now with doing what I'm doing now, make videos that sell stuff, I want to make an impact and I want to make money. And the impact I want to make is helping women succeed in their businesses and get over unsuccess. Let's make it happen. I know you can do it. I know I'm teaching you what you need to do in order to be successful. So at the very end here, let's just take a quick look at Facebook the way it is today. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there because I just want, if you haven't done this, I want you to not only know how to do it, but I'd like you to see what's been happening for me with Make Videos That Sell Stuff and the marketing campaigns that I've been doing. All right, let's have a look. So this is my personal page on Facebook. I highly recommend if you don't have a group page, you don't need one. You can do it right off your personal page, which I think is a good way to go. It's less work. And so you'll see that I have, here's an edit, view tools, and promote profile. I'm just going to stick with view tools. And when you have view tools, on the left it has your home, profile, content, audience, all this stuff. Welcome to the professional dashboard, insights, and management tools all in one place. So in the last 28 days, the post reach, engagement, new followers, and you can go to more insights and recent content in the last 28 days. We're going to dig right into this and let you know. So you need to change your Facebook to professional. If you haven't, just Google, how do I make my Facebook professional? And then you have access to all this stuff. So if I click on more insights, it takes me to an overview. So post reaches in the last 28 days. And then there's a see details. Then there's top performer, see details, and content and audience, and down we go. So this is your information. This is what you're looking for. So if you want to click on details, then it shows you an overview of everything, all your reactions, all your comments, everything else. And this is all within the last 90 days, right? It's not everything, but you can see into more of everything by clicking on content over here. And now you get last 90 days, last 28 days, and last 7 days, which is really good because you may be doing a campaign that is a week-long campaign, a full month, or it could be 90 days. While I'm making this video right now, I have not done a marketing campaign in the last, really in the last 2 months, because it's been Christmas, January, February. Yeah, it's been Christmas. I've been creating the content. I've been doing all this stuff. What's important now is how do I look at what I want to look at when it comes to a marketing campaign. So in this case here, if I click on the last 90 days, it shows me, it shows me, and it goes by, you'll notice the date, it says January 15th, then February 1st, then February 11th, then January again. The reason why the dates are out of order is because it's going by post reach, which is the topic of this particular setting, right? So it shows me all the way down, and look, it shows me what videos I created that worked, or what individual posts that I made that worked. Was it a and did it have a link in it? See what I'm saying? So this has all of the information that I need to know what works and what doesn't. And you'll see there's a wide variety of these vertical videos and horizontal ones. There's less horizontal than vertical, and it depends on what you're trying to create and where you're posting them. For example, was it a Facebook Reel, was it a Facebook Story, or was it sitting on just directly on your page that didn't link to any of those? And I've been testing those to find out what works best and what doesn't. And when I look at post engagement, that's what tells me. Now, engagement is, reach. It's reach, not engagement. That's reach. So this is telling me how many people it reached. Now, if I want to look at engagement, which is the next piece, and that was what was first and second in the metrics document that we looked at in the very beginning. So now I'm looking at engagement in the last 90 days. And, there's not much in, the month of March at all, because I just haven't when geared towards my business. But when you scroll down, so it has on the very top, the most successful engagement post. And now what you want to do is, as you put this information into your spreadsheet, you'll know, where does engagement line up with reach, right? This is what we know. And then out of all these, which ones had a call to action, and did it get clicked, right? And at the end of the day, how many sales did it make? That's what this is all about. So this is not about just being excited because somebody liked something that you made, right? We are in business. I love this because this stuff is available for free. And Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the other platforms have access to a certain amount of analytics, and all of them are getting better and better as time goes by. LinkedIn just put in a brand new, more in-depth level of analytics are available for you, but all of them are doing this. How do we get from engagement and reaches and impressions? How do we, those kinds of things? How do we, through that funnel, how do we get clicks, click-through rates, and calls to action, and all the different metrics? Are they working for us or not? And this is a beautiful thing to have. And as just in general, so here we have, I made an 80s video that got the most amount of reach in the last 90 days. But look at this. Underneath that, look at all the posts I'm making that are about my business, right? This is what's important. I teach women only how to make unstoppable video marketing. This is why I qualify to help women to increase. And because I make videos, and I have a podcast, I have an advocacy group, I have Ed Squire Media, and I'm also like a documentary filmer and a videographer. All of those different types of skills that I have and things and passions that I do are built into what I post. However, when I go to do a marketing campaign that is strictly to sell this content to more women, or back in November, October, I literally took a leap from launching my business, which was a hard decision, into making videos and helping Jessica Lala in raising money for her event when she got ALS, and that's a whole nother story. So I got away from, if I looked at just the postings during that time, there is no Ed Squire Media, make videos that sell stuff and content that is trying to sell for women. It was just one thing and one thing only. It doesn't always have to be one thing. It depends on what your focus is. And that's really what I'm saying. So just for the last couple of months, I've been promoting a little bit of visible kindness, saying it's a relaunch is coming up and people are excited about that. Then I look and see what kind of postings did I make that got people's attention. I've been doing a little bit of posting on Me Too. Now, not a lot, but I do a lot of posting that is inspirational, informational. And if you hear what I'm saying, the download that I've given you on the different types of videos to make, I experiment with all the time to see what is getting people's attention. And that's how we do it. And then I keep track of everything that I've made, either on my phone or on a hard drive, so I can reuse them again, both still images and videos, because it really makes life a lot easier when I'm not always making new stuff. I can post individual pictures and posts that I've made from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and people won't remember, and I can reuse them again, the ones that worked really well. And even the ones that didn't work really well, I can try them again now to see if they do work really well, because times change, people change, cultures change. Okay, I'm just going to give you a quick look at the Google Analytics, and I have Google Analytics that is tracking Ed Squire Media, and also Me Too What Now, and a landing page. So I have it tracking everything. So if we just look at Ed Squire Media, it tells me how many users, how many new users, average amount of engagement time, where people are. It has everything. New activity. It has activity by cohort, which I won't explain now. New users. So the wonderful thing about Google is it provides you with a ton of information for you. It has acquisition, engagement, overview, events, conversions. And you can track all of this stuff. I mean, it is incredible to help you make better decisions with what you're creating than if you're just making it up as you go. And I highly recommend that you do at some point in your marketing career to do this, because it is just going to really help you grow fast. And I love it. That's what is happening for me, and that's what's happening for people that are succeeding in business and in social media. That's how it works. Do this. As difficult as you might find it, or as hard as you might find it, I don't find it difficult, but I find it hard. It takes time to create content. It takes time to do all this stuff. But once it's done, it's done. See? It's done. And I can reuse much of the advertising that I've been doing, which is through organic marketing, whether it's still imagery or videos. I can continue to use that over time. And I'm just telling you, to succeed, this is what it takes. And it is a lot of fun. I am having so much fun with Ed Squire Media, Visible Kindness, Me Too, What Now, because of all the work I've done in the past to get it somewhere that's popular. I don't even have the words, right? And I have Visible Kindness, Me Too, What Now don't even make money. But I'll tell you, I make a lot of money making videos. I can tell you that, because that's what I do. I'm a videographer. I'm a photographer. I'm a filmmaker. And that's what I do. I love doing events and helping people. That's what I do. Now, I like creating content and training people, women only right now. And I'm not sure what to do, because I've had a few men get a hold of me, and they're like, I'm sorry, you can't. I won't sell this to them because they're not women. I'll have to see what happens. I got to run. I got to get going. I hope you guys really enjoyed this module. And if you have any questions, by all means, reach out to me. And also, don't hesitate to reach and put into the community what's working for you, what's not working for you, what you're struggling with, what you're succeeding at. I just wish you all the best. This is the end of week 5, which is a killer week of hardcore content. All of the content so far has been everything you need to really get going, and I hope you do. And then as we get into week 6, I'm really pumped, because now I'm going to show you not only the videos that I've made, but how do you actually go through a sales process through that funnel and boom, start making the sales you really want. I never meant to do that, but it's exciting, right? I mean, you should feel this kind of emotion about your business, whether you're struggling with it or not, because you know where it's going to be. You know what you're going to end up having. Remember, the art of effective social media measurement is understanding what metrics matter the most to your business based on your goals. Your success relies on your ability to focus on and execute what matters most to your goals. You can do it. You can succeed. I'm in your corner with you. I wish you all the very best in this.